Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Morning. It's morning. Yeah. Stop that. If I don't stop that music, Facebook is gonna go crazy. Um, well, YouTube. Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I said I'm gonna come on this morning and just to do a quick video on the local elections which just took place just a couple of days ago in the United Kingdom. But I just wait a bit for persons to come on as well, and while I synchronize as well to my my Facebook. Yeah, Facebook. Yeah, let me just do something here. Another place. Yes, beautiful day outside. I'm looking outside. It's a super duper beautiful day. Let me just do this. And if you're on YouTube as well, good morning, good morning, good morning. And it has moved over from good morning into good afternoon as well. Saturday, 4th of the 5th, UK time, SYLBOURNE TV, SYLBOURNE show. And what I want to do is just to do a quick video on the recent local government election. If you're interested in politics or whatever like that, just a quick one. It's just to see what's happening. If you're on this, please feel free to share. Good afternoon from the UK. Good morning in the rest of the world as well. I just saw some a while ago. I did it from the other page, but that's no problem still. Is it the end of the two-party system? Is it the end of the two-party state in the United Kingdom? Is it the end? Is it the start of something new when it comes on to politics in the UK? Yeah, and wondering what exactly happened. What exactly is happening? Will Brexit ever take place? Will they just give up and say that's the end of it? I believe many persons would like that to happen, and some just want to get it on. The different what should I say, leaders have their different perspective, their different views as to what actually took place. Some are saying that it is just to get on with Brexit. Some are saying, like the Libdems, actually is saying that we want to remain in the European Union. The question is, what exactly is the right reading? What exactly took place? What exactly is the message? And that is it. What exactly is the message? What do you consider the message to be for the recent elections? Of course, for London, it wasn't a matter for London this time. There were a couple of by-elections. There's a by-election in my area for the new MP, which is Janet Davey, who stepped down from being a councillor. So there was a by-election there. Labour, of course, swept again, over 1,000 votes. And so the Labour Council, I call it the Labour Council. The council right now in Lewisham is got 54 MPs, councillors rather, 54 councillors. And of those 54 councillors, all of them are Labour. So therefore, it is deemed to a certain extent that there is no sort of accountability in the Lewisham Council. And so one couldn't say the loss by the Conservative is a loss, or the loss by the Libdems, or the loss by any other party is a part of the national sphere of things. But instead, it is simply that normally in Lewisham is considered to be a red zone, considered to be a council or a constituency which is predominantly if so, no areas. I believe that any place, any council, any parliamentary seat, anything can actually be, and this is what I want to say, there can be an upset. I believe that anything can happen. That's my perspective. Anything can happen. I believe that all people sometimes need is to be inspired. I believe somewhat, and many people are saying there's a uh, lack of inspiration by um, politicians, the leaders. People are not inspired. Anything can happen. That's my perspective. Let me just turn that down there. Yeah, I believe that all people sometimes need. That's it. Let's turn that down there. So anything can happen. Now, we had the local government election just a few days ago, the 2nd of May, and now the results are completely in, or if it's in, maybe bar maybe 1 or 2 votes, bar minus 2 or plus percent, if anything like that. The what happened is that the Conservative lost 1,334 council seats. UKIP lost 145 council seats, and Labour lost 82 council seats. The Green picked up 194 council seats. The others picked up 662 council seats, and the Libdems picked up 703. How people are reading this? People are reading this as if to say that, well, from one party, well, the Conservative will say, this is a message to the government, to the people, to the nation, that we just need to get Brexit done. Just sort of Brexit. The Labour Party view as well on the Corbyn is that we need to just get Brexit done, just get sorted out. Remain in the European Union. So many are looking to see what the European election is going to be. That is, if it takes place, because I want to explain to you why there's a possibility that it might not take place. That if the European Union election take place for European MPs, there's a possibility as well that the message will be very clear. Nigel Farage with the Brexit Party may become the winner. If that's the case, that is sending a message that the UK is saying that we want to leave the European Union. So there are many conflicting signals, and it all depends on how someone ideology, or how someone perception, or how someone view that will determine polls. Sometimes people do polls taking into consideration and know where they want the polls to lead to. If you remember a few years back when we had the coalition between Tweedledee and Tweedledum, that's what they had said. That was the Conservative with Nick Clegg and David Cameron, Nick Clegg being the Deputy Prime Minister and David Cameron being the Prime Minister. When there was not a very clear majority, it was deemed that the message that the people were sending was this: we want you to work together, right? And as a result of that, it's very important then that somehow you come together and try to orchestrate the plan for the betterment of the nation. Because when you have figures in an election, and when that comes out, and political analysts start analyzing, they always say, this is what we believe the people are saying. And it is very interesting when they say, this is what we believe the people are saying, because you have to analyze it when all the information comes through. When you have the referendum, isn't that one should also read that to say, this is what the people are actually saying. The people are actually saying in 2016, March the 23rd, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe 23rd, March 23rd, or the 23rd, forget the exact date of the Brexit vote, is that people are saying we want to actually leave the European Union. Of course, the figures differ by about 1 million, but that was what the message was. So therefore, they talk about the will of the people, and the only question is, what is the will of the people? Those on what I'm just doing is a quick little breakdown, because I believe tonight I may have a guest where we're going to say, what exactly did the election results say? What is the message? Are people fed up with politics? What was the turnout? Now, what I don't know and what I need to find out is, what was the turnout like? The turnout is somewhat different from the results. because you can still have a low turnout and have a results with changing of hands, right? Now, conservatives, as I said, have called for the parties to pull together after it suffered its worst results in English local general elections. Sajid Javid admits that. He says there's an issue of trust over Brexit and said it's 1,300 seats or 1,300 seats for the Conservative Party. Come on, you did that bad, you know? And this is where I always talk about the separation sometimes from politics and sometimes persons. The nationals sometimes can have a damning effect upon hardworking, good, and great councillors. A national election can cause an impact upon good and great working parliamentarians, because if one doesn't like the national and how the national agenda is, then someone will reflect when they go down and they drill down into the local government election, they'll see a particular person, a councillor, Labour Conservative, Libdem, or whatever, that person is doing a fantastic job. That job the person is doing is unmatched to nothing. But guess what? Being to the fact that the person is in a particular party, then they'll be voted out. Strategic voting. Could it have been a protest vote? Why the Libdems got more? Why the others got more? Because really and truly, if we check it out, the Conservatives still have the majority, whereby councillors now, for the Conservative, is 3,562. Even though there was a change where it dropped by 1,334. So they lost 1,334, but the councillors that they have is still the majority, which is 3,562. Councillors at present now is 2,023. What they had before was plus 82, which is they lost 82. Libdem, right, present 1,352 councillors. Why? Because they got 703. They picked up 265. And why? Because they got 194 more seats just recently. UKIP had over 180 or so. They lost 145 seats, so they are now at 31. And the others, the Looney Loon Party, that blah, independent there, whatever like that, they have got 1,179 with a plus of 662. So it is, I'm not a political analyst, and I'm a person sometimes read certain things and give my view. I always say, give your views, give your perception, give your perspective. That is your view. Everyone has a view, even in the bathroom, even with Brexit. People say, I'm not interested in politics at all. But yet at the same time, they have a view on Brexit. They have a view whether they want to remain in the EU or get out of the EU. They have a view as to whether they like more Roman calls in Europe or less costs in regard to that. They have a view as to the different things, LGBT issues, whatever. Everyone has a view. So everyone somehow are involved in politics. Yes? Everyone is involved in politics. I did a course one time which was called Politics in You. Politics in You, whereby how everything really is affected directly or indirectly by politics. And one of the examples we used was even the Colgate Palmolive. The Palmolive, the Florida whatever that you put in toothpaste. That is something that has come around based on politics. The hump on the road is politics from a council perspective. The road that you drive on has some element of politics. The speeding camera, it is politics. That new building, that library being closed down, it's politics. The community center, it's politics. Everything has to do with politics, because guess what? Based on different situation from a council perspective, then you have to have the decision from the members in order to effect certain money, how much money they want to keep, in social services as well. It's politics. How much money is given to adult social care, children's social care? How much money is there? Politics. The local election votes were not influenced by Brexit. Well, that's and this is why I say this is very interesting, because everyone has as a different view, because right now I'm just seeing that it is Ellen President, local election votes were not influenced by Brexit. This is why voters from the major parties voted for Libdems. Other than UKIP, which is entitled for Leave, if we were to go by those results, it would put the Conservative 280 and Labour 262 if it was the general election, you know, if it is the general election. And that is it. If we were to go by the, it would, that's what I saw. It would put the 280 and Labour, it was a general election. So in a way, we have to watch to see how this pawns out. But there's one thing which I believe, which is very crucial, is that people have somewhat lost a bit of confidence in the political fraternity. People have somewhat lost an interest or having that level of trust with parliamentarians, right? Whereby they dilly-dally around and talking about the will of the people, right? The will of the people will change left, right, and center. It will change tomorrow, it will change next day, but there's got to be a cutoff point. Even an accountant will know that there's a cutoff point when they're doing their figures. The end of the financial year, that's a particular date. The end of the month, that's a particular date when balance is crossed forward. Yes, it will change eventually, but there's a cutoff date. Even in a court of law, when an order is made, a court order is made, or a direction is made, there is a particular date. There is a particular time. So, and that is where you operate from, unless you're going to have another court hearing to make that amendment or to vary the particular order, or you're going to have to do some accounts. I don't know what they do to vary certain things. Or in this particular case, you're going to have to do another referendum. And then you're going to question, then why do another referendum when you haven't acknowledged the first referendum? How am I going to be sure that you're going to honor the new referendum? What if the new referendum comes with the same results? Will you be honoring that? And that is one of the questions that many people ask. Will you be honoring the next referendum if you cannot, in the first instance, honor the first referendum? And that is why I believe personally that it's very important for the Brexit to take place. And that is some of the discussion, you know. But in regards to the EU now, what they're talking about with the European Union election now, for the MPs now, is that it is a view that they do not want this to happen. And that is why Labour is saying we've got to deliver Brexit. And that is why Conservatives say we've got to deliver Brexit. Because if they don't, there's going to be the rise of the Mr. Nigel Farage, the Brexit party, to serve the main parties a bloody nose. King, yes. Yes. Bear with me 1 second. I just need to get my car alarm off. Bear with me 1 second. Okay. Car alarm was going off. I got my keys to come back there. Yes. So there's a thinking now that there is a possibility that the Tories might have to make a move towards the Labour proposal of a permanent customs union in order to solve the current impasse in Westminster. And what seemed to be the distinction now is the EU customs union is where they are. They're looking for some custom union that may believe could be the concession which is made. I mean, what Mike is saying, the local elections were influenced by Brexit. I voted for Libdems in protest against the two main political parties. In hindsight, I should have spoiled my vote. I will definitely voting for the Brexit party in the European. Now that is what happened. That's what I'm talking about. So right there, Mike, what you're saying is that you're one of those arguments, what people are actually saying, that the vote and the swing to the Lib Dem was a protest vote. So that is evidence of one, right? But you know, in politics, when people say sometimes, my vote won't make a big difference. And guess what? Thousands of people say that. Even to millions of people may say that my one vote won't make a difference. In Jamaica, they're saying 1 cocoa full basket. Yeah, 1 cocoa full basket. So therefore, we're seeing a situation where Mike Lawrence is now saying, I voted Lib Dem in protest. I believe personally that is also the case with lots of people. I believe it was a protest vote. But of course, the Lib Dem have got to stir that up, build that up to make it look as if to say it was a people swinging to them to their clear message that we want to remain in the European Union. That's what Lib Dem agenda is. That's what their policy is. That's what they're pushing for, to remain in the EU. Now, that is unfortunate because what actually happened was that there was the vote in Parliament where it said that we will honor the results of the referendum. So therefore, all political parties, all MPs should be working on getting the EU out, of course, with the right deal. And I can see with that, right? So therefore, that's a good point there, Mike. I love to hear if anybody else voted. Of course, you know, if people are wondering why they didn't vote, the election, you got to question yourself, were you in London? Because it was for London and it wasn't for, it was for London. It wasn't for London, it was for outside of London. The EU Custom Union, it said, a country, and this is what they're saying now about the EU and the Custom Union, the country does not have to be a member of the EU to be a part of the Custom Union, but members can negotiate their own independent trade deals with countries from the rest of the world. So it seems like things are moving towards the possibility of a custom union to deal with the whole impasse, if anything. And then you got the backstop, which is another issue as well. Okay, so if the government, in conjunction with the Labour Party, can work on a deal very soon, there is a strong possibility that we do not have to have the, what should I say, the European election. And I believe it is a waste of time and it's a waste of money as well. Because what's the sense of saying you're leaving the European Union when at the same time you're doing another election to stay in there for the next 4 or 5 years with your members of the European Parliament? That don't make sense. You know what I mean? So I think that is the situation. So just to wrap up now, change in number of councils compared to 2015, the Conservative lost 1,334 seats. UKIP lost 145 seats. Labour lost 82 seats. The Green increased their hold to 194 seats. Other 662. And the winner of the day with the most seats, well, the most seats that change hands is 703. And just to recap, just to let you know, the present count of councillors in the UK is still the Conservative with 3,000. Let me see if I can find the figures here. 3,562. Labour 2,023. Lib Dem 1,350. Green 265. UKIP 31. Others 1,179. Right? And that is what is happening. Now, my final say in this is regard to politics. I believe that it is very important for persons to be involved in the political process. I believe it's very important for persons, whatever race, creed, or tongue, to get involved in the political process. I believe it is important that you join different parties, you know, Conservative, Labour, Lib Dem, doesn't matter. Many people sometimes say black people should not join the Conservative Party. I consider that as hogwash. Some people say black people is more for the Labour Party. I consider that again as hogwash. I believe that persons are individuals, that they think differently, that they have their perception. And many people say, well, it's a racist party. Well, I say, listen, I think the whole white structure and white Caucasian and everything like that coming from a white racist perspective with a white supremacy. That's the base, really. But at the same time, you don't change things by staying outside and cuss and make noise. You change things by getting inside there and be at the table. And if you don't have a table, you got to make the table. And if there's no chairs, you've got to make the chairs. So I believe that it is very important that persons get involved in the political process. Be a councillor, be a member of parliament, and inspire, because I believe at this present moment that there's a lack of inspiration in leadership within the European unions. I correct myself right there. Maybe in the European Union, could be right, but I believe in the UK, there's a lack of inspiration. It was very good and inspiring to see Gwenton Soley, who even recently, while he was being harassed by police, that he ran actually in the by-election in Whitefoot Ward. Recently, he got, I believe, 218 and 214. That's a start. He actually put himself forward. I've put myself forward 3 times. I believe 3 times or 4 times for elections in the UK. Council election wasn't successful. But I tell you what I learned is what is happening on the doorstep. I hear what people are actually saying. I get the abuse and I get the well done or whatever like that, and I get the congratulation and I see when I lose and stuff like that. But guess what? I learned, and I'm learning the process, and I'm getting my feet wet in the process. I take my children with me and knock on doors and deliver leaflets, because you want to make the change. To make the change, you've got to get involved there and be in a strategic position to effect the change. That is so crucial. That is so important. And I believe for everyone, even like myself, putting oneself forward to be on the parliamentary list as a prospective parliamentary candidate, because I believe we can make a change in the House. I believe right now the House of Commons is lacking of strength of leadership, strength of character with parliamentarians. I believe lots of persons need to go home and start to take care of their children. And I believe that it's important that we have persons getting in there and to be inspiring, to change the nation, change the direction of the country. I believe personally for Brexit, and I can say this, I believe it's a watershed moment. I believe it's an opportunity. I believe it's an opportunity for new uncharted territories, new uncharted waters, investment opportunities, having your cake and eat it. And I'm talking fruit cake straight from Jamaica. You can have it and you can eat it, because guess what? You will still be in the Europe. You still be in Europe, and you still be able to trade with the 26 countries or 27 or whatever like that in the European Union. And then you'll be able to be on the same level with USA, Canada, China, New Zealand, Japan. I see it as a win-win, but that is how I see it. I see long-term vision. I don't see it as the UK going alone. I see it as the UK going together with the world together, because, and that is what I find very interesting. Let me see what he said. Michael, I find alarming how the political elite and media still don't change their rhetoric, telling people that the election results show that the main parties need to come together to get the deal across the line. We should leave on WTO rules. Mike Lawrence, I'm with you. I believe that David Cameron, they should have effected and they should have left long time ago. Leave and just deal with it program. And I think the media just love this, personally speaking. I think the media just love this. I listen to BBC in the morning sometimes, and the first thing they say, oh, the crazy, they use these words, Brexit, oh, that crazy thing, and blah, blah, blah. It is not inspiring. It's not empowering. It's not encouraging. It's like, oh, here we go again. So therefore, there need to be some speaking up. They need to be parliamentarians or leaders or ambassadors of Brexit saying, this is what can happen. So while they're going through the motion of the electing of the political process to get it across, you need to have some maybe person like yourself, Michael, go out there and say, this is positives, this is a positive, this is a positive, this is what can happen. It's like even when you're going for your own personal development, you're coaching people, you're inspiring people, you're creating some product, you're creating some sort of service, you're selling something, you're going to speak it up. You're going to say, that car is the fastest car. That car can take you from A to B, and not just A to B, take you straight to A to Z. And by the time you come back, it take you back from Z to A. And in the whole process, you don't need extra petrol because of the amount that is in the tank. You're selling it up. You're not lying. You're selling it up. You're propping it up. You're saying, we can do it. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my view. I completely believe that the UK somewhat, and the leadership which is here, somewhat lack the ability to inspire a nation. They lack the ability to inspire people. And as a result, that is why we're having all this confusion now, when all it needs is to just get it going. The press is not helping, and somewhat the MPs are not helping. So that is my view and my little take today, which I just wanted to share, because I've been listening to the various news programs, and I said, I need to just get my voice out there as well. And I believe it is important to get your voice out there as well. Don't just rely on the BBC, don't just rely on the LBC, don't just rely on the ITV, but you can rely on also SYLBOURNE TV, on the late one with myself, giving your perspective as to another perspective, ladies and gentlemen. So crucial, so important. And tonight I might have a guest where we'll break this down a bit further. So I want to thank you so much for coming on early this morning or this afternoon from the UK, looking at the local government election, and was it a bloody nose for the two-party system? And I think what we're going to look at is it the end of the two-party system? Change UK, Brexit Party, the Green Party, all these different parties coming into the frame. Is it the end, a death knell for the two-party? Or is it a Brexit fiasco, which has now opened up a can of worms? Will this be shut down once Brexit is in effect? Ladies and gentlemen, those are the questions that I put to you, and I look forward to your response. And for those on YouTube, I want to thank you so much. Let me hear your views, your comments as well. You can check it over on SYLBOURNE TV. And for those on Facebook, please let me hear your views and your comment. Thank you for coming, and have a great day. Enjoy the sunshine and have a wonderful bank holiday. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.